Happy Halloween, YouTubers. Fake it till you make it. This is going to be my Walking Dead episode 3 video. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. It was kind of like the Walking Dead doing Wizard of Oz, and Carol was Dorothy. Like, you have this journey, like the tornado of walkers, the haunted hayride that she wanders off the path. She starts hallucinating people as if they were still real. As they're killing them, they get into the kingdom. And it's almost like you're in the land of Oz and everyone is play acting. Like, it doesn't seem real. She learns all about Ezekiel, who he himself is kind of like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, so he levels with her. So let's do top 10 and comic book Easter eggs as we go along. So number 10, Dorothy in the land of Oz. So just in the way that they jumped around in time last season, they're doing the same thing this season. We pick up right in the moments after we last saw Carol in the season 6 finale, as they bring her back to the kingdom like she was getting ready to die. So they treat her, she's out for about 2 days. So you can guess, like, based on next week's episode, by the end of this episode, they are like synced in time. They're current in time with the other survivors storyline. So number 9, explaining Ezekiel. This is like the greatest thing ever, where Carol's like, what the hell is going on here? And Morgan just can't quite find the words. He's just like, okay, he's doing his own thing. He's basically trying to explain to Carol that he might seem like a crazy person, but he's doing everything he can to keep her alive. So just please play along until we can leave. But the Ezekiel Shiva reveal was great, like the way they wheel her into the church and you see him sitting there on his throne, the roar of that CG tiger. It looks great. It looks way better than it did in the trailer. But, obviously the way they master episodes in editing is like way more high quality for the actual episodes than the trailers. So number 7 is like my new favorite character, Jerry, who is basically like, he's not a replacement for Abraham, but he's like this huge right-hand man dude who's just ready to throw down at a moment's notice, but can't help himself from making jokes. Jerry, please, calm down. Even later, he does the deuces thing, like when it seems like Ezekiel's gonna throw down with Carol. Like, he totally doesn't care how serious the situation is, but he's like, but I'll be over here if you need me. Deuces. So I'll understand if you cry foul, because he totally stole that from Abraham. The deuces thing was kind of Abraham's thing, and you're still kind of sad that he died, but at least deuces lives on in Jerry. So Jerry is one of my new favorite characters. But number 6, the pigs. WTF is up with the pigs? You find out pretty quickly, but they're basically poisoning the saviors slowly as much as they can. But like they said, next week is produce week, so they're giving the lettuce, so it's not like they can just load them up on tainted meat, but that's what they're doing. It was the same thing when the wolves were trying to eat Bob's leg. Like, haha, tainted meat, got you fools. Eating tainted meat won't turn you right away, but it will make you sick, you will die, and then you'll turn. So they are dropping a big dirty bomb on the saviors. Number 5, though, is that they're keeping it a secret from everyone at the kingdom. Not just that they're giving them tainted meat, but that they actually have a truce at all, which just sounds like a terrible idea that's going to blow up in everyone's faces. Anytime you keep a secret that big, it always gets out eventually. So the minute you learn about this conspiracy that Ezekiel has going, like this charade, this kingdom of Oz that he's trying to give these people like a happy way of life, there's no way that it's going to last. Speaking of not lasting, what about all this Ben stuff? Like, they set him up like he's the surrogate son of Ezekiel. Like, Ezekiel was really close to his father. His father died because of some decision that Ezekiel made, and they had been close. So it sounds like he kind of adopted Ben out of guilt in a way. So, Ben is this important person to him. He asked Morgan to take care of him. They have this nice through line through the episode about being a realist and adjusting your course. That's why he says, hey, Morgan, I think that Ben is in need of an adjustment. And it mirrors really nicely with what's going on with Carol's arc. But it just goes back to what Morgan said to Ben. You can teach people the right way, but they just have to learn it on their own. I'm still trying to figure it out. So that's what's going on with Carol. Like, she's just figuring out her own way too. But number 3 was the actual throwdown with the saviors. Richard, the person from the kingdom, versus Gavin, the really asshole savior dude. That is definitely going to come back. Anytime someone is that terrible, they always find a way to bring it back in a really rewarding payoff. So hopefully we'll get to watch Richard just tear him apart later this season. But Gavin is just like the newest Dwight, just a really annoying, evil character, and it's going to be so much fun to watch him get his brains splattered. Number 2 is Carol and Ezekiel in the Garden of Eden. Like, they had that whole biblical thing going on. This is the garden. It's my favorite place. Ezekiel is the king, kind of like a god among his people. You have the apple of knowledge. Like, you should really try these. These are amazing. So Ezekiel explains to her his Wizard of Oz origin story, which was great. I was a zookeeper. I saved Shiva. Then she just treated me like a friend thereafter. I keep her on a chain, but I don't keep her. She could leave anytime she wanted. There's no way I could control her. Like, he basically explains that Shiva does what Shiva wants to do. So Shiva becomes this metaphor for Carol. Carol is the tiger. Boom, mind blown. Carol is like this deadly destructive force that can't be forced to do anything. You can't keep her on a chain. Thus, we get to, number one, she goes off on her own, seemingly leaves, has this amazing goodbye with Morgan. You're definitely in my top 3 people that I ever tried to knock out. But then, big twist, like the scene keeps going on. So you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And the tiger sort of comes calling at the door with the growl, and Ezekiel gives her the apple, just letting you know that she's going to be working with Ezekiel, even though it seems like she's not. Like, she's living down the road, so she'll be able to alert them when the saviors are coming. So she is still helping them out, but she's kind of on her own. So that's what Ezekiel meant when he said maybe you can leave and not leave at the same time. So let me know, what was your favorite moment from the episode? I feel like their conversation in the Garden of Eden, so to speak, was probably the best thing ever, where Ezekiel just totally levels with her. Like, I had a little bit of theater training and these people started following me. It's in people's nature to follow someone. They want someone to make them feel safe, so that's what all of this theater is for. But I will totally do a trailer video for episode 3 tomorrow, just talking a little bit more about the Daryl stuff with the saviors. Like, we spent this episode with the kingdom. Next week is going to be like a saviors episode. So we'll get to see what's going on with Daryl. We'll talk a little bit about comic book stuff. But Ezekiel, like most of the comic book stuff in this, was right off of the page. Ezekiel on the TV show seems like a little bit younger than Ezekiel in the comic book. But it did seem like they kind of rushed the reveal, like Ezekiel explaining how he was like the Wizard of Oz. Like, this is all just an act. I put this on to make people feel safe. A little bit faster than it happened in the comics. But it was a great episode. It was a nice, fresh breath of relief after that crazy, intense Negan episode. But we're jumping right back into the fire next week. So they're definitely jamming their foot on the gas, like full steam ahead, Saviors and Negan. So it's going to be crazy next week. But there is a new round of the giveaway that starts now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's just a $20 Amazon gift card. So I'll post that trailer video for episode 3 tomorrow. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click down here for my non-spoilery Doctor Strange review, and you can click here for my Walking Dead episode 1 video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.